What is good, everybody? My name is The Generation 71. Thank you for tuning back into this random Call of Duty Zombies gameplay. Yeah, I know, it's been a while, and honestly, we'll get to that conversation later. But right now, we actually have to talk about something a little bit more important, and it's Call of Duty Black Ops 4 Zombies. So there's a handful of people that need this, but I actually had no intentions of buying this game, and I actually stayed true to that. I didn't buy the game. I actually got gifted a copy by Activision themselves, which is kind of nice of them, so thank you. I wasn't the only one that got gifted in my little, I guess, circle, I guess. But it was something where they didn't necessarily need to do, but it was like, hey, cool, thank you, appreciate it. So I didn't buy it, but because I bought it, I didn't buy it, but because I didn't buy it, I actually have been playing it quite a bit, and it's interesting because now that we are all, I guess, separated from just the general fact of, the Easter eggs have been solved for all 4 maps, quote unquote. I say quote unquote Easter eggs because there's one that necessarily didn't have an Easter egg, but we'll get to that later. We've had time to grow and play the maps, get used to the maps, kind of make some interesting, I guess, opinions of it, and I do find it interesting, and that's why I kind of wanted to throw my 2 cents in here, just kind of like how the community has felt about Call of Duty Zombies and Call of Duty just Black Ops 4 in general. And I don't know, so let's just start with the zombies because that's what I know most about. Obviously I've played the multiplayer in blackout mode, but that's a whole other can of worms right now, but we're just going to talk about zombies. So their vision, in case you haven't already figured it out, is they wanted to make zombies a little bit more open for everybody. And so if you have a particular play style, that you can play that way. So because of that, they actually took out some of the most beloved perks, and it's funny because I laugh thinking about how with Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, technically, PhD Flopper was taken out, and how everybody freaked out. I don't think anybody, especially old school zombie people, could have ever imagined them actually taking out Jug, Speed Cola, and Double Tap. And I understand why they did it, because they are absolutely correct. When you put so many perks in a map, there's gonna be ones that are better than others, and so obviously if it didn't matter what playstyle you had, you always got Jug. For the most part, you always got Speed Cola, and then the other 2 perks, depending on the map, was always up to the discretion of the player. I usually went with Double Tap, and then if I decided to be running around, Stamina. So the fact that they did take out Jug, Speed Cola, and Double Tap, I don't blame them for. I really hope that they do give an option though later on, even if it's just for one single map, where hey, if you're feeling nostalgic, here we go. But you could also make the argument too that the way the Call of Duty franchise is going, that they possibly took out Jug, Speed Cola, and Double Tap, so that way Black Ops 3 wasn't entirely gutted, saying, hey, now you still have a reason to go to Black Ops 3, especially if you still have Zombie Chronicles and you had all the maps from the season pass. You essentially have a reason to go back to Black Ops 3 now instead of just sticking with Black Ops 4. That's why I honestly don't believe we'll see a bunch of other remakes for Black Ops 4, though obviously we have 2 remakes, Blood of the Dead, which is Mob of the Dead, and Classified, which is a remake of 5. But I don't see any more unless it pertains to the story. So as much as I would personally love it, I don't think we'll ever see Call of the Dead remade. I don't think it'll happen. I'm trying to think of another one that we had, I guess, third-party guests, and I think the other one was Blood of the Dead, obviously. Well, okay, I don't really, I guess, I won't, I don't know, it's weird to say. I don't see any more remakes happening, but I could be proven wrong. We'll see what happens. But because of that, like I said, they took out those perks to make it more customizable for people if you have a specific playstyle. So if you're like me that likes to run and gun a lot, there's particular perks that'll help you out with that. Stamina, you have a lot of, I guess you could say, anti-zombie perks. So obviously you still have Electric Cherry, which isn't really called Electric Cherry anymore. And then you also have, I forget what it's called. It's essentially kind of like Winter's Howl, but not. So you get hit, you actually freeze zombies that are around you. So anytime you're running and gunning, and if there's a zombie that spawns in front of you, you have the ability not to go down right away. And then there's also Death Wish, that instead of going down, you actually go into a berserk mode and go crazy. So there's multiple different ways to play. There's also other perks that if you get a shield and you like just, fortifying yourself in a corner, they actually have perks that support that as well. So I understand why they want to make it customizable that way, but I don't know. And this is just coming from an old geezer myself. Old geezer, I'm only like in my mid-20s. It's really hard for me to accept change. I understand that to keep things fresh, keep, things going on, you kind of have to accept change. I miss the old days. That's all I can really say. I miss the old days. I miss the old maps. Some of the people I used to run with. I miss that feeling, I guess. And now it's all microtransactions, which that is one thing I think people have failed to really call out. I think everybody kind of knows it, but they just don't want to say anything. Is that the new Elixir system is essentially just Gobblegums, but because Gobblegums got so, I guess, tarnished by the microtransactions, like you couldn't think about Gobblegum without thinking about microtransaction, that they're like, okay, well, we can't use Gobblegums this time around, let's go ahead and change them to Elixirs. So and it's a great rebranding strategy, so as a company, good move on your part, but I really think that in the end it's still not necessarily cool, especially for the younger viewers that maybe we're wising up, be like, oh, hey, Gobblegums, I shouldn't be buying these, or at least spending real money on them. And now they're like, oh, but Elixirs are so much better. In the end, that's here nor there, I guess, because in the end, if people weren't buying these, minus, kids, then Activision and Treyarch wouldn't be implementing them. So I guess in the end, I can't really say much to that. There have been other zombie YouTubers, more popular ones and more, educated ones that have made videos on the talisman system and all that, and they can explain it way better than I can. But essentially, the microtransaction system is a bit broken at this point when it comes to the elixirs and the talismans and all that. So definitely, if you're interested in more in that, definitely take a look at their videos. So, but nonetheless, so obviously we've talked about kind of like the changes. Some of the good changes that I like I said, it is more customizable, so you can change your starting weapon, you can change your tactical grenades. You actually technically now have a specialist. It was kind of like something they were taking from Overwatch, where everybody has like a special ability. Well, they put that into zombies too, which I personally do like. I feel like because of that, it does make going to high rounds a lot easier than it used to be. You just have so much available to you, especially like with Blood of the Dead. You still have the golden sport that you get, that's a one-hit kill melee till like round 31, because round 32, that's when it starts becoming 2. You have the Tomahawk that helps you pick up perks, especially if they do fall far away. Specifically with this map, you also have like different areas you can stand. Like I still stand up at the gondola. The gondola's bay. And especially if you have like a pack-a-punch sniper rifle with, I think it's called Dead Mine in this one, which essentially it was the one that makes your zombie buddy kill the other zombies. Those things, it just, I feel like now it's just making it more overpowered, easier to go to high rounds. So some of the other maps I can't speak too much to. I've played Blood of the Dead way more than any of the other two, so I can't really speak to the other ones as much. But I will talk about one other thing, well, a couple other things, but specifically more the Easter eggs. So I made a video back in Black Ops 3 saying why I quit Easter egg hunting, and I still stay true to that, and that's why it's funny I'm showing this video here. We're actually attempting the Easter egg. It was never intentional. We were actually just playing to play, and then we had some no mics just randomly do the Easter eggs. Like, okay, well, it's already started. Let's see how far we can get. We didn't necessarily finish. We actually got to right before the boss battle, and it was a shame because it was actually a really good attempt. We actually started it way earlier than you're supposed to by using I guess, a Mukibon glitch. It is a glitch because Treyarch didn't intend you to start the Easter egg until round 18. I think we started at around 8, so 10 rounds before. So we were like, yeah, why not? I mean, we already started early. Maybe we could finish it early and get another trophy. So because now you get trophies for finishing Easter eggs and all that, not just the satisfaction. So my personal gripe with all Easter eggs now is that it's no longer, and I know somebody's gonna like fight me on this when it comes to, you know, Ascension, Moon, and Shangri-La specifically, but I really do feel that some of the older Easter eggs were more based on your intelligence, more based on luck than luck. Here, like, there's a part of the Easter egg where you need to put numbers into that container there. And I even asked the people, I was like, where did you guys get those numbers from? And it was like, it was luck. So it was like, well, is that really what it is? Is there a book that we missed somewhere that actually had the numbers? I don't understand, you know? And I feel like that's especially with some of the other, like, also CODs too. So when it comes to Infinity Wars or Sledgehammer's versions of it too, the Easter eggs are no longer like based on like puzzles, ciphers, you know, like clever deduction. It's more like, hey, throw this random thing at this random area to get a random item, you know. And it's kind of a shame because that's originally why I loved Easter eggs so much, because it really felt like it tested my intelligence to see if I was smart enough to solve it. Now it's just like, hey, am I lucky enough? And, you know, despite what some other YouTubers will tell you, but it's who I know as well, because I'm not going to call out specific names, but it is kind of a well-known thing that there are some zombie YouTubers that have, I guess, friends in higher places as far as Treyarch goes that do leak information, and as well as you have, you know, and this one's not their fault, but they do have data miners like providing them with information. That one's not their fault. I know they don't advocate for data mining, but it's like, well, you already gave me the information. I can't unlearn it. It's not like I can erase my mind and be like, oh, this person mentioned that this thing I'm looking for is in this area, so I'm not gonna look for it even though it's clearly in this area. So I don't blame them on the data mining part of it. I do blame them on, like, obviously because of their stance in the community, because of their popularity, they just have a little bit more information than most people do, especially on launch. So that's kind of a shame. So, but I mean, so that's why, and I still stand by it. That's why I said this is kind of a once out of the way thing of us doing the Easter egg, because it was just like, hey, you know, why not? So. But I still don't do Easter egg hunts. I don't actively be like, I'm gonna do this to, you know, solve the Easter egg. But don't get that, I guess, twisted too. There will be times where I'll do Easter egg steps, just to kind of prove to myself that I could still do it while the round is going, while like people are still killing zombies. But that's something I used to do way back in the day. I remember jumping into random games, specifically Call of the Dead, and would try to do the Easter egg while other people were just playing the game, and just to prove to myself like, hey, I'm that good of a player that I could do this while other people aren't focusing on it, and while other people are constantly killing zombies running up the rounds. So, but that's just a personal thing at my point. That's not necessarily something anybody else needs to do or whatever. So so then with that being said, where do I stand on Black Ops 4 Zombies, and then where do I see it going? I think I like the vision that they're going with. That's why I even tell people with Black Ops 2, it's like, I don't necessarily hate the game. I don't necessarily hate the maps, because with every map it had a gimmick, and I understand where they were trying to go with the gimmick. Just because the gimmick wasn't well implemented doesn't make it a bad gimmick. They just didn't implement it well. So with Black Ops 4 so far, every gimmick I felt like has been implemented well. So I thought it was very clever with Blood of the Dead, how instead of going into the afterlife, you actually are using the shield, and that is essentially your afterlife. With Voyage of Despair, I do like the verticality with it, actually, because when I first played the map, I thought it was like, man, this is super small, and then I found out like there's like 5 other levels plus the engine room, and then you could swim. It's like, Jesus, I didn't realize this was this big. So with 9, I do like the kind of Roman Colosseum feel with it, especially with the challenges that you have to do to earn different rewards. And with Classified, even though recently it was funny because a lot of old school people love Classified map right away, and then Easter eggs didn't show up, and that's what we'll talk about next, and then everybody hated Classified. It's funny. And a lot of people were talking about saying with Classified, because technically that group is not being worked on by the same group that, you know, did the original 4 characters, so the original Richtof and Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takio. so that these writers don't necessarily understand what made those characters so great. So even though I make jokes like, man, I wish Nikolai would talk about getting drunk more, that's not necessarily why I liked him so much. I liked him for the comic relief, and I think that's what most people enjoyed about the original characters is comic relief. But now everybody is just so, I guess you could say, just the extreme versions of themselves. So like I said, Nikolai just talks about drinking constantly. Takeo's talking about honor. Dempsey is still like, yeah, man, America. And then obviously Rick Toffin's, I will say Rick Toffin's a little less flamboyant in Classified, which is probably a good thing, but but what got everybody riled up was that one, the characters kind of seem like an empty version of themselves, and the Classified Easter egg technically is non-existent. The only Easter egg you get is apparently if you get to around 150, there is a cutscene that plays. But everybody's problem with that is you were lucky to get to round 50 without glitching, because the game still constantly crashes. You know, you get blue screens of death or whatever. It's ridiculous. And I do tend to agree with a lot of some of the popular YouTubers saying it's like, how, with us being a month at this point, like removed from the launch of the game, are we still getting blue screens? Like, we shouldn't technically be getting blue screens at launch because it should be a complete game. It shouldn't be having these errors, but it's still technically having these errors. And with me too, I have a digital version of the game. I don't have a physical, so it's not like the disc is freaking out. No, literally, it's a digital version. There should honestly be no reason it's a blue screen, but it still is. And so for a lot of people, they will never see that, you know, cutscene unless they actually go look it up on YouTube, which is Treyarch's. That's not their vision. They want you to get to 150. They want you to see that cutscene, like, genuinely, but they don't want you to YouTube it. But when the game crashes, what choice do people have at that point? So that's an unfortunate byproduct of, you know, just in this day and age, we don't necessarily get complete games at launch. And it is what it is. I mean, we can complain about it, but a lot of people already bought the game, and obviously, you know, if you know most retailers' feelings, you know, you can't go to the retailer and be like, hey, I want my money back. Say, hey, you open it, it's alright, it doesn't matter where you go, GameStop, Walmart, Best Buy, they're not going to give you your money back. So in the end, you're just essentially stuck with a product that's not a complete product until Treyarch decides to fix it, and who knows when they'll decide to fix it. So, and don't get me wrong, like, Treyarch, I know obviously a bunch of people working their hardest, but just sometimes there's just that disconnection. It's like, I don't understand, why is this so hard to fix? Are you guys just prioritizing something else, or is there really just that much of a problem with the code? And if that was the case, why didn't you just push back the game? But I also know the business side of it. I know exactly why they didn't push back the game. So I think for now we're going to leave that there. Apologies, I got interrupted there. But yeah, I think we're gonna leave it there for now. I will continue to actually kind of just do more commentary over this gameplay and later just videos, because this is already running 18 minutes long, and if I were an old schooler, I would have broke this up into 2 videos, but hey, I gotta get that YouTube money, even though I'm not making enough views, because obviously I've been gone for like ever. So yeah, we'll talk more about zombies. I mean, obviously, I'm not going away from it. I'm not going to necessarily be, again, a full-time zombies YouTuber again. There's no way I could do that, especially with not having a reliable team anymore, unfortunately. But I will kind of share some commentary and I guess give my perspective of it, which is more of the business side of it, because I think compared to all these other zombie YouTubers, sure, they have the gameplay side of it down, and then yes, they may know Treyarch's side of it, but I don't think they necessarily understand Activision's and the retailer side of it, and I think that's a perspective I could provide that they necessarily can't. So we'll probably talk more about that in later episodes here. So, and plus you could see us fail miserably at this Easter egg. So anyways, guys, like I said, I'm gonna cut there for now. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, also too, if you guys, in case you didn't know, I have a Twitch, so twitch.tv/generation_71. If I'm wrong about the underscore, the link will be down in the description down below. I think I'm gonna start making a constant schedule, at the very least every Sunday night, probably starting 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and it'll probably revolve around zombies, honestly. I mean, I've been playing a lot of Red Dead Redemption right now, and then plus I've been trying to finish Kingdom Hearts as well. But I think Sundays I'm going to dedicate it to zombies specifically, because there's a lot of stuff I still have to do, and not to mention, like, even though this game wasn't necessarily a bad game, it wasn't my greatest game, and I've been having a lot of games like that lately. I used to be the guy that would have the most kills, would be able to survive till the very end. You know, I was the guy, you know. And I feel like because I didn't play as much in Black Ops 3 because of the lack of Easter egg hunting, I need to just, like, I guess, revamp my senses again. Not to mention, too, Black Ops 3 plays very different. One of the things that we'll talk more about when we talk about more perks in future episodes is that zombies now spawn in front of you when you run. So that's fun. That's great. That makes me so happy. So, but yeah, guys, like I said, we're going to cut it there for now. Please join me on Twitch if you guys want to talk more about zombies, if you're a zombie fan. So, but yeah, this has been the Generation 71, and we'll catch you guys later.